Chosen one. You did not stumble upon this moment by chance. Heaven itself arranged this encounter. You were guided here by divine appointment at the exact second your spirit was ready to hear this word. The same God who spoke the stars into being is now speaking through this message to confirm what your heart has already been sensing. Your season of completion and divine wealth transfer has begun. Anointed one, you are standing at the edge of a supernatural threshold. What was delayed is now being delivered. The heavenly accounts are open, and your name is written on the next release. This isn't ordinary provision. This is restoration, repayment, and release, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. The Spirit of the Lord declares, as written in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, and that appointed time is now." You are the seventh chosen, the finisher, the vessel through which God will demonstrate that the promises spoken through generations are being fulfilled. Take a deep breath, chosen one. The heavens are shifting, the scroll has been opened, and the wealth of heaven is aligning itself with your obedience. Chosen one, heaven has been whispering your name long before you ever knew you were chosen. Every delay, every detour, every heartbreak wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You've been walking through a sacred timeline that others couldn't see, a pattern of divine alignment designed not to crush you, but to crown you. That's why your process has always felt heavier. You weren't meant to survive cycles, you were chosen to complete them. Anointed one. Listen carefully. There's a reason your soul feels different lately. You've begun to sense closure before it comes, endings before they're visible. That's not anxiety, it's awareness. Heaven has been tuning your spirit to discern divine timing. I've walked through that same tension, knowing something was over before I could explain why. I thought I was losing ground, but heaven revealed I was gaining grace. What I thought was loss was actually God sealing something through me, not taking something from me. You've probably noticed that certain things no longer move you. Old conversations, familiar places, even relationships that once felt essential. It's not that you're cold. It's that you've outgrown the frequency of unfinished things. Completion has altered your appetite. You crave stillness over noise, wisdom over hype, truth over performance. The world calls it isolation, but heaven calls it incubation. When God is birthing something new, He first silences the noise around you. Chosen one, you've seen the number 7 appear again and again in dates, times, receipts, even dreams. That's not random. That's heaven's signature. 7 doesn't just count, it confirms. Each appearance is a whisper from God saying, "It is done." These divine patterns remind you that what once felt delayed has matured into readiness. You are stepping into divine completion, a season that no longer requires striving, only surrender. I remember when my own life fell apart just before it came together. Opportunities vanished, people left, plans collapsed. But later, I saw it was divine rearrangement. God was pruning me, not punishing me. I wasn't hidden to be forgotten, I was hidden to be refined. Heaven hides what it values most. Joseph was hidden in a prison before the palace. David was hidden in caves before the crown. You too have been hidden for holiness. And now the time of revealing draws near. You carry something that belongs to generations before you. Your ancestors prayed for a finisher, and heaven chose you. Their seeds of faith are blossoming in your obedience. You are the living amen to every unfinished promise in your bloodline. Through you, God completes what began long ago. Completion doesn't mean your story ends. It means you now move in rhythm with heaven. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer fear endings. You discern transitions. The calm you feel is not apathy, it's authority. You've reached the Sabbath of the soul, the holy rest of the seventh chosen. From this moment on, what flows through your life won't come from effort but alignment. Chosen one. There are unmistakable signs that you carry the mantle of divine completion. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Heaven leaves fingerprints all over the lives of those who were saved for last. When you begin to notice the same themes repeating rest, release, renewal, it's because heaven is marking your life with the rhythm of 7. Every cycle you've endured was a divine countdown leading to this moment of revelation. The first sign, anointed one, is premature awareness. You sense endings before they happen. You can feel the atmosphere shift before others notice anything wrong. When God is about to close a chapter, your spirit starts releasing it days, weeks, even months ahead. People may misunderstand you, thinking you're giving up, but you're not quitting. You're graduating. That quiet peace inside you is prophetic closure. It's God whispering, you've finished this assignment. Step forward now. The second sign is divine rest. You've stopped striving. You no longer chase validation opportunities or answers. You've realized that true strength doesn't always roar, sometimes it rests. That's what Scripture means when it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness has become your new strategy. You don't react out of fear anymore. You respond out of faith. Your calm has become your confirmation. The third sign is holy discontent. The things that once fed your soul no longer satisfy. Sermons you used to cling to feel too small. Old habits can't hold your new growth. You honor what got you here, but your spirit has outgrown those spaces. That's not arrogance, that's advancement. You're shifting from understanding God with your mind to knowing Him with your being. The seventh chosen can no longer live in borrowed revelation. You must walk in personal encounter. And here's another sign, divine isolation. You've noticed that lately, heaven has been pulling you away from noise. Your circle has changed. People who used to call don't call. Opportunities that once chased you have gone silent. But that silence isn't rejection, it's refinement. When God hides you, He's protecting your oil. You're not being overlooked, you're being preserved. Every season of obscurity is proof that heaven is preparing a public unveiling. The final sign, chosen one, is effortless authority. When you speak, things shift. When you pray, peace enters the room. When you forgive, generations heal. It's not because you're trying harder, it's because heaven now flows through you. You carry the Sabbath within your spirit. You bring closure where there was chaos, rest where there was restlessness, order where there was confusion. That's what happens when you walk under the seventh mantle. Anointed one. You're not just another believer enduring another test. You are heaven's finisher, the divine conclusion to a generational story. Your very presence signals the end of one era and the beginning of another. Every conversation you have, every place you walk into, carries an invisible frequency of completion. People will start to feel peace without knowing why, because your spirit announces it before your words do. Chosen one. You are the living evidence that heaven completes what it begins. The same hand that wrote your ancestors' prayers has now written your purpose. You don't need to fight for recognition, your fruit will speak. You are the seventh, the seal, the sign that it is finished. Chosen one, before heaven reveals a finisher, it refines them. The process you've endured wasn't just to test you, it was to temper you. Refinement isn't punishment, it's proof of purpose. Every time something was taken away, heaven wasn't reducing you, it was refining your reflection. Gold isn't shaped in comfort, it's purified in fire. And you, anointed one, have walked through flames that others couldn't survive, yet here you stand, not burned, but brighter. You've noticed how certain people disappeared the moment you needed them most. How promises collapsed just when you began to hope again. You wondered if you did something wrong. But heaven says no. You did something right. You kept believing. You kept forgiving. You kept showing up even when unseen. The refining season was never about losing. It was about learning who you are when there's nothing left but faith. That's where revelation lives. Chosen one. I remember when my own life was stripped to silence. Every door I knocked on stayed closed. Every prayer seemed unanswered. But in that stillness, something holy awakened. I realized that God hadn't abandoned me. He was building endurance. He was teaching me the sacred rhythm of surrender. And when I finally stopped trying to fix what he was finishing, peace arrived. I discovered what it means to live in divine timing, not personal striving. You're learning that now. You've stopped begging heaven to hurry and started trusting heaven to order. That's what makes you different. You don't panic when things slow down. You pause and perceive. You don't chase opportunity. You wait for revelation. Refinement has trained your spirit to move with precision, not emotion. The seventh chosen walks with quiet power because you've learned that stillness is the language of strength. Anointed one, the world may call your season hidden, but heaven calls it holy. Even Jesus withdrew to the mountain before his miracles. Moses disappeared into the cloud before his covenant. Every great unveiling follows a season of divine solitude. That's where revelation is born, in silence, in surrender, in secret. And I can feel that heaven is about to pull the curtain back on your life. You've been tested in private. Now you'll be trusted in public. Don't resent the refinement. The pressure you felt is prophecy pushing through you. The weight on your chest, the restless nights, the sudden tears, they're not random. They're contractions of destiny. You're giving birth to a new version of yourself, your divine version 7. When you emerge from this, you won't just walk differently. You'll carry a frequency that creation recognizes. Doors will open at your presence because the world responds to alignment. Chosen one. The revelation is simple yet profound. You are not being rebuilt to be who you were. You're being reborn to become what heaven always intended. The version of you that's coming forth is lighter, wiser, and untouchable by fear. You'll look back on this wilderness and realize it was your womb. Everything that hurt you healed you. Everything that delayed you designed you. So take heart. The refining was necessary for the revealing, and when heaven unveils you, there will be no mistaking it. The glory will speak for itself. You'll walk in rooms you once prayed to enter and find your name already spoken with honor, because this time, chosen one heaven is not just revealing what you carry, it's revealing who you've become. Chosen one, you've reached the threshold between who you were and who you are becoming. This is the sacred space where endings and beginnings breathe the same air. It feels strange, doesn't it? The familiar no longer fits, yet the new hasn't fully formed. That tension you feel, the heaviness in your chest, the pull in your spirit, is the labor of becoming. You are not breaking down, you are birthing out. Anointed one heaven is transitioning you from survival to stewardship. The season of scraping by, of wondering if you'll make it, is over. You've already been approved for abundance. You're entering a divine economy where provision flows according to purpose, not performance. God doesn't fund confusion. He funds completion. That's why doors that once stayed shut are now opening with ease. The same ideas that were ignored before will suddenly attract divine investors, partners, and opportunities. It's not coincidence, it's confirmation that your birthing is complete. But birthing isn't glamorous. It's holy exhaustion. It's crying and creating in the same breath. It's feeling like you've lost everything while heaven whispers, "I'm giving you something new." I've been there too. I remember the weight of invisible responsibility, feeling called to something greater, but unable to name it. Yet every time I thought it was over, revelation would stir again, and strength I didn't know I had would rise from within. That's what's happening in you now. The contraction is proof that the promise is ready. Chosen one, don't despise this in-between. It's sacred ground. Heaven is aligning everything that belongs to your next chapter. Relationships, locations, finances, and even your thoughts are being recalibrated. You might feel like you're losing control, but what's really happening is divine reordering. God is repositioning every piece of your life to fit the new blueprint. That's why you can't return to old patterns. They don't match your new frequency. You've entered a phase where manifestation feels magnetic. What you think you see, what you declare you draw. That's because your energy has shifted from worry to worship, from striving to flow. The universe responds to your alignment. You no longer chase outcomes, they chase you. Every no you faced before was heaven's redirection toward the yes that carries eternal impact. You were never behind. You were being synchronized with divine timing. And here's the secret of this birthing. The new you isn't louder, it's lighter. You'll find peace where you once found pressure. You'll feel joy even when nothing makes sense. You'll notice how your spirit now commands rather than competes. This is maturity. You've learned to let peace lead instead of fear. That's the posture of someone who knows they're funded by heaven itself. Anointed one. The birthing of the new you is not just for your benefit. It's for those attached to your destiny. Your transformation will activate others. When they see your calm in chaos, your grace under pressure, your faith in famine, something inside them will awaken. That's what it means to carry completion. You become a living invitation for others to finish well. So breathe, chosen one. Don't resist the transition. You're not stepping into uncertainty, you're stepping into sovereignty. This is the unveiling of your divine version, 7, purified, powerful, and permanently aligned with heaven's rhythm. The old has served its purpose. The new has begun. Chosen one. When heaven calls you the finisher, it's not a title, it's a transfer. You are stepping into your inheritance season where what your ancestors could only pray for becomes your reality. Everything they fought to start you were chosen to finish. The blessings they dreamed of but couldn't touch are now being placed in your hands. You are the living proof that no prayer ever dies. It just waits for the right vessel. Anointed one, this inheritance is not only spiritual, it's also material. The heavens are releasing what was once withheld. It's the divine wealth transfer, not just of money, but of wisdom, influence, and divine partnerships. Doors that were shut for generations are opening to you because your obedience unlocked the vault. The harvest belongs to the one who stayed faithful in silence. That's you. The favor that skipped others is landing on you because you carried it through fire without bitterness. But this inheritance isn't casual. It's covenantal. It comes with responsibility. You're being entrusted with abundance to build, to bless, to heal. Your resources are no longer just for survival, they're for assignment. You'll notice divine ideas rising like morning light strategies for business ministry and creativity. You'll sense where to invest, when to speak, and how to move. This clarity isn't self-confidence, it's spiritual command. You've graduated from praying for provision to partnering with it. I remember when the Lord began to shift my life this way. What used to drain me started fueling me. Where I once asked, "How will I afford this?" I began declaring, "It's already covered." And things began to appear: solutions, people, opportunities. Heaven doesn't just provide, it prepares. And when the timing aligns, provision appears, like it had been waiting in another realm for your yes. That's how inheritance works. It meets readiness. Chosen one. This inheritance will also show up in peace. What others strive for will start to flow to you. You'll walk into rooms where you once felt invisible, and this time you'll be recognized without explanation. Your name is already being spoken in places you haven't entered yet. That's the divine ripple of obedience. You stayed consistent when no one was clapping, and now heaven is amplifying your impact. But remember, abundance is not a finish line, it's a foundation. God funds what carries eternal purpose. So don't hide your light out of humility or fear of judgment. The favor on your life is an instruction to shine. When heaven promotes you, it's not for vanity, it's for visibility. You're a walking testimony that divine completion creates divine provision. You are the proof that heaven pays those who stay faithful. Anointed one. The inheritance of completion means you've entered the rhythm of divine flow where miracles are normal and peace is your profit. You will give without depletion, build without burnout, and lead without fear. Your legacy will not be struggle but sustainability. Everything your family lost through fear, lack, or delay will find rest in your hands. You are not inheriting wealth alone, you are inheriting redemption. So lift your head, chosen one. You are not waiting for favor, favor has been waiting for you. The divine account is open and your name is written across the line marked fulfilled. Chosen one. When heaven completes a cycle, it doesn't end in silence, it ends in authority. You've stepped into a realm where your words carry weight, your presence carries peace, and your movement carries meaning. You're no longer praying for doors to open, you're commanding them. Because when God calls something complete, no enemy can reopen it. This is what it means to walk as heaven's finisher. Anointed one. You've been given authority not to control, but to consecrate. Every place your feet touch is now under divine jurisdiction. When you enter a room, confusion begins to settle, tension begins to lift, and peace begins to reign. That's not personality, that's power. You carry the vibration of completion. People may not understand it, but they'll feel it. The same way Jesus calmed storms with a word, you've been given the ability to speak stillness into chaos. Heaven doesn't just back your prayers, it backs your presence. This is the moment where spiritual maturity meets divine management. You're no longer asking for miracles, you've become one. When you speak, things align because you've learned how to govern your emotions and guard your peace. The enemy can't use what no longer provokes you. You've reached the still point of divine authority, the Sabbath within the soul. I've experienced that transformation firsthand. There was a time when every storm would shake me, every delay would discourage me. But once I understood my authority, I stopped reacting and started reigning. When you realize you're funded by heaven, you stop begging for approval. You start moving like someone who already has it. And that chosen one is when everything begins to obey the voice of divine alignment inside you. This authority also reshapes your relationships. You'll notice you no longer attract chaos, you attract clarity. People who thrive on confusion will quietly fade because your energy exposes instability. You won't have to argue, explain, or prove. Your presence will do the talking. Heaven's authority doesn't need defense. It manifests in results. When you walk in alignment, even your silence becomes strategy. Anointed One, this level of authority comes with stewardship. You must use it to build, not boast. To heal, not to highlight yourself. When God gives you spiritual command, it's never about superiority, it's about service. You are sent to establish divine order wherever disorder reigns. You'll find yourself walking into situations others avoided and restoring peace with a single word. That's the power of the finisher's mantle. It doesn't fight for control. It restores creation to its proper rhythm. Chosen One, you've earned this by endurance. Every trial you overcame, every betrayal you forgave, every storm you outlasted has been converted into spiritual currency. Authority is not given, it's forged, and you've been forged in faith. That's why heaven trusts your voice, because it knows your motives are pure. You no longer desire recognition, you desire results. So speak, Anointed One, decree and declare, shift atmospheres and silence storms. You are the evidence that when heaven finishes a story, it leaves a ruler behind to preserve its peace. You are that ruler, the divine governor of your destiny. Chosen One. When heaven finishes something inside of you, the earth around you begins to change. You've entered the stage where your internal transformation is creating external manifestation. The soil of your life is shifting. People, places, and patterns are rearranging themselves to match your new frequency. The world is responding to who you've become, not who you were. This is the supernatural ripple of divine completion. Anointed One. This is why your environment feels unfamiliar. What once felt like home now feels too small. Old friendships drift, old dreams dissolve, and even your desires evolve. Don't resist it. This is renewal in motion. Heaven doesn't update you without upgrading your surroundings. When God changes your inner atmosphere, He has to realign everything attached to it. You're not losing ground, you're gaining gravity. Your energy has shifted, and everything that's not in resonance with your calling will naturally release itself. I remember when this started happening in my own life. Suddenly, the places I used to love visiting felt heavy. The people I used to lean on became quiet. It hurt at first. I thought I was being forgotten. But heaven whispered, "You're not being left, you're being lifted." I realized later that divine elevation always creates distance. God was separating me not for isolation, but for illumination. And when I finally embraced that separation, new doors began to open effortlessly. Chosen One. This is the divine pattern you're living through now. Your surroundings are being reordered to mirror heaven's vision for your future. That's why certain opportunities that looked perfect suddenly vanished. They weren't aligned with your next season. Heaven will never let you settle for small when you're called to carry magnitude. Your destiny requires new soil, richer, deeper, and ready to hold the weight of your promise. The new earth around you isn't just physical, it's spiritual. You're beginning to attract people of purpose, conversations of depth, and assignments of eternal value. Notice how you feel more peace in silence, more connection in solitude. That's not loneliness, that's recalibration. Heaven is teaching you to recognize divine resonance. From this point on, peace is your compass. If something steals your peace, it doesn't belong in your next chapter. This new reality also carries a prophetic responsibility. Wherever you go, you'll bring the vibration of restoration. You'll walk into fractured families and see reconciliation. You'll enter weary workplaces and feel the atmosphere lift. That's because heaven now trusts your energy to steward environments. The peace within you becomes contagious. The anointing on you becomes atmospheric. You're not just living in the new earth, you're helping build it. Chosen one. The world around you is watching and wondering how everything is suddenly aligning for you. But you know the truth, this isn't luck, it's order. Heaven's architecture is taking form in your life. You are the blueprint God is using to demonstrate His timing. Every prayer you thought went unanswered was actually laying the foundation beneath your feet. So stand tall, anointed one. Look around with fresh eyes. This is not the same ground you once walked. The wilderness has blossomed. The delay has turned into destiny. And you, the seventh chosen, are now walking in the garden of fulfillment, the place where heaven and earth finally agree. Chosen one. Every story heaven writes ends with legacy, not loneliness. You were never chosen just to receive blessings, you were chosen to become one. What you're stepping into now is not only personal breakthrough, but generational transformation. The seventh mantle you carry is designed to echo beyond your lifetime. Your obedience will outlive you. Your peace will become your children's inheritance. Your name will stand as a symbol that divine promises do not expire, they mature. Anointed one. Your legacy begins not with possessions, but with patterns. You've broken cycles that have bound your family for generations. You ended the wars that others kept fighting. You silenced the fears that ran through your lineage, like rivers. And now, because of your faith, the water is clean again. The next generation will drink peace where others drank pain. You've done what few could. You've turned wounds into wisdom and suffering into strategy. Heaven calls that victory. But this legacy won't just be invisible. There will be visible fruit homes, businesses, movements, and ministries birthed from your obedience. The same divine hand that carried you through the wilderness will guide you into establishment. You'll build systems of light that last long after your voice grows silent. Others will study your journey and find faith in your endurance. They'll see what happens when a person refuses to break under divine pressure. That's how a finisher leaves a mark, not through noise, but through longevity. I remember when I finally understood this truth. I realized legacy wasn't about fame, it was about faithfulness. The people who impacted my life the most weren't the loudest, they were the ones who stayed consistent when the world turned chaotic. And that's what you're becoming now, steadfast, rooted, a living testimony that faithfulness finishes what ambition can't. Chosen one, your legacy will also carry the wealth of wisdom. You'll become a mentor to many even without trying. Your presence will inspire others to walk uprightly. Your story will ignite others to heal boldly. You won't have to preach. Your peace will preach for you. That's the quiet authority of completion. People will feel heaven's calm when you speak. They'll sense safety when you pray. You will remind them that holiness is not perfection, it's alignment. Anointed one, heaven is writing the final line of your chapter, but not as an ending, as a continuation. What God began through your bloodline, He is perfecting through you. And because you finished well, the generations after, you will begin well. The oil that flows from your life will not fade, it will multiply. Every act of obedience today becomes a divine deposit into the future. You are sowing peace into time itself. So lift your head, chosen one. You've run your course with grace, and now you carry the crown of completion. The number 7 that once felt mysterious now lives within you as rhythm, rest, reign, and renewal. You are heaven's 7th chord, the sound that closes one song and opens another. You are the finisher, the culmination, the living Sabbath of your bloodline. And as you walk forward, remember, this is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your legacy. It is finished, and it is only beginning. Chosen one, pause for a moment and breathe. What you've just heard isn't coincidence, it's confirmation. Heaven has been preparing you for this very hour. You are standing in your Kairos moment, the divine intersection of promise and fulfillment. Everything that once felt delayed has now aligned. The cycle has turned. The mantle of the seventh chosen has rested upon you. Anointed one, this is your season of release. The supernatural transfer is already moving in your direction, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. The heavens have opened over your obedience. The blessings that were held in waiting are being assigned to your name. You are not striving anymore. You are receiving. You are not chasing. You are being chosen again, this time for overflow. So walk gently but boldly. Speak only what heaven approves. Move in quiet power, knowing the same hand that began this work in you is perfecting it. You are no longer in the waiting room of destiny. You are in the birthing room of manifestation. Rest in the knowledge that grace is your foundation, favor your inheritance, and completion your identity. Chosen one, lift your hands where you are. Let gratitude fill your spirit. You are the finisher heaven trusted. You are the bridge between generations. You are the living proof that God keeps his promises. From this day forward, may peace go before you, may provision follow behind you, and may divine order sustain you. If this message stirred something in your spirit, take a moment to write in the comments, "I receive my completion." Share this word with another chosen soul who needs to remember who they are. And as you go, remember the cycle is finished, the promise is alive, and your time has come. Walk in your divine completion. Heaven is smiling over you.